Onorato Company on the road. And I don't know that that's trademarked. I felt like we were doing this show away from home enough that I could say show on the road. There are other properties that use that terminology, but we're on the road. I'm at Saratoga National, and my goodness, other than being poolside, oceanside, lakeside, there's no better place to be outside in the capital region when the weather's good like this. It's Chris Onorato. It's Ashley Miller. Hi, Ash.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, you look somewhere much nicer than me. I said you look like you're at a beach resort somewhere.
Yeah, and
Blue
I said
sky,
that is
umbrellas.
a high compliment to Saratoga National. You can make Saratoga, the outskirts of it, look like you're at a beach resort. That's pretty darn good.
Yep.
I'll move around probably a little bit, so I'm not in the direct sunlight the entire show.
Yeah, otherwise you'll end up like a lobster.
We've got some cool stuff to get to on the show. Ash is wearing a T-shirt from an event Wednesday night called Cat 13 Monster Volleyball Fundraiser Tournament. It was Ash's first experience. I can't wait to really get her true assessment of it, having witnessed it now. We will bring back some of the interviews we did with Michael Oher and Harrison Butker and Terese Cannon, the 3-star athletes who were at that event. And I'll explain why I'm at Saratoga National. But we've got a lot to get into on the show. So let's just start going. And we're going to jump off with the NBA draft and where we think Andre Jackson Jr. might go and maybe what is the best fit. It's Onorato Company.
This is Onorato Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
And live at Saratoga National. Why am I at Saratoga National? Because Michael Oher, who everybody knows his story from the book and the movie The Blind Side, is in town this week hanging out with our crew, Novice. And they did a little leadership breakfast for him this morning where we got to meet influential people in the community, people who are directly involved with affecting change in the 518. He shared his message. They got to interact with him. It was a very cool thing. And so many people came up to me afterwards and said, I cannot thank you enough for thinking of me and having Novice invite me and all that. And so it was a good breakfast for sure. And we're going to bring back some of the interview we did yesterday with Michael Oher live at that Cat 13 volleyball tournament. Ash, let's get into it, though, here, because we have the NBA draft. And as we do the shows, we always do live on a Thursday. The first and second rounds, there are only two, will go Thursday night. So if you're watching us over the weekend on TV, thanks for finding us there. Try to check us out on social media as we do the show live, and some of it will make a little more sense to you probably. So the latest mock draft, Ash, you saw was an ESPN mock draft, and I'm going to guess it was Jonathan Givony probably who did the draft mock here, and he's got Andre Jackson Jr. going to the Nuggets at 37. This is low for me. After the guy was such a catalyst to a national championship for UConn, there's no way he went to the NBA draft combine and disappointed. Some teams might have looked at his shot and said, I don't know how I get you to shoot over 32% from downtown, but you can. You can. We've talked to people who are like, he was a really good shooter in high school. Something changed. You can get him up to the mid-30s, I think, and then he becomes a totally different player. 37 is low for me. I don't think there's any way he's still on the board at 37, Ash.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but so much of it depends on, how the dominoes fall. Who somebody takes at number 2 decides who somebody takes at number 13. I agree. I think he'll go higher, and I think someone will get a steal with him at 37 if that's indeed where he falls to. But these things are so hard to predict. And for me, and I know this is how the NBA works, but for me, I don't need Andre Jackson to shoot threes. I need Andre Jackson to do everything else that he does because there aren't players who are like him, who play defense like him, who rebound like him, who hustle like him. He does everything else. You don't need him to also shoot threes. That's a bonus. That's a bonus because the argument will be not everyone in the NBA plays defense. Well, guess what? Andre Jackson plays defense. Andre Jackson does all the little things that a lot of other players aren't going to do. So for me, the 3-point shot would be an added bonus, and that's something that you can add to your game.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever team drafts him, they will try to get him to shoot the three better because at his size, 6'7" or whatever it is, playing a wing, you've got to be able to shoot it somewhat effectively. But to your point here, and you just made the point, which is why I think it doesn't matter how this draft falls and who gets selected where, because every team in the NBA can use Andre Jackson Jr. Now, what you said to me is very true about the NFL draft. Guys get selected a little out of order where you may not think they go. All of a sudden, the draft board changes. But Andre Jackson Jr. has such a unique skill set that it translates to any team. Any team in the NBA could use him tomorrow. So I think it's just going to be about value, best available player on the board. And I think some team in the early 30s and maybe late 20s is going to look at what he can do and fill in some of the gaps from that size and athleticism. He ran the point a lot at UConn in that NCAA tournament. He had 6 assists a game, 6 rebounds a game. He was close to double digits in points for a number of those games. That national stage, I just think teams are going to look at it tonight and say, we're Indiana, we're Sacramento. Boy, Denver would be great. Imagine going into that situation. But we can use this guy. We have enough shooting already. Let's let him come off the bench and be an impact guy that way with his athleticism and his IQ. Which we probably don't talk enough about how smart of a basketball player he is. So I'm excited. I mean, it's funny, like Kevin Huerter got drafted, 5 years ago now, something like that. I might be more excited really to see where Andre ends up than Kevin, because we knew Kevin was going to be a top 20 pick. His agent had kind of been told that, hey, if you get to 18 or 19, we are going to take you. The unknown with Andre here kind of has me a little more amped up about tonight's draft.
Yeah, I think the difference between, and I'm not sure many people are going to argue this, Andre Jackson is more athletic than Kevin Huerter. Andre Jackson
of course.
is he has some things that you just can't compare in terms of just natural God-given ability, the ability to jump through the roof. But there is so much unknown. I think Jackson's ceiling is higher, but I think the expectations will be lower. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if he blows these expectations out of the water. But I think Kevin Huerter, there was so much more certainty surrounding his game that people were very comfortable picking him in the teens to low 20s or early 20s. Andre Jackson Jr. has the ability to be a top 15 guy if he lives up, a top 10 guy if he lives up to his own abilities. But again, I think he has the ability to be a mid-30s, 40s guy, and that's where the fluctuation in numbers comes a lot of times, I think.
And, Draymond Green was a second-round pick. Now, so is Nikola Jokic, but I'm not going there. Draymond Green was a second-round pick. And Jackson, in a lot of ways, might remind you of Draymond Green. Can play the point. He's more athletic than Draymond. He plays above the rim more than Draymond, but Draymond's a really good defender.
Yes.
Draymond blocks more shots than you probably realize if you don't watch enough Warriors games. He doesn't shoot the three well, and so he doesn't shoot it a lot. But as a facilitator and a defender and just kind of an athletic guy, Draymond Green is a starter on one of the best teams in the NBA, and he doesn't shoot the three well.
Yeah, so physically they don't remind you of one another.
Draymond's certainly more stout, and
stats would probably be somewhat similar.
Yes. Well-rounded players. Yeah. Roll call here. Team Rogers on YouTube.
Well, that was at 9:30 in the morning, so I'm not sure where we were.
Early. We like early. Carol's watching. Carol's always watching. We appreciate that. Jeff is always on with us. Sam is always on with us. Joy is with us here. And Nick Matalone says, Wembanyama needs to put some weight on and work on that first pitch.
Wembanyama says he's not putting weight on.
Yeah, there hasn't been a hyped prospect as much as Victor Wembanyama since
when?
LeBron James.
Yeah.
LeBron, for sure.
I think so too, but I'm trying to think back on.
No. I mean, Wembanyama has been the number one pick since before last year's draft. Yeah. Everybody knew you were playing and losing for Victor Wembanyama, and the Spurs will get that glorious right tonight to select him. I can't wait to watch him. Nick makes the point, put on some weight. Is he more Kevin Durant or is he more Chet Holmgren? Right? Like, I don't ever remember hearing a lot about Durant. Like, oh boy, I don't know. I'm worried about his durability because he doesn't have the thickness to him. But that was a real concern with Chet Holmgren, but even before last year's draft. And it certainly played out that way.
I think they're a little different. He feels a little more Durant to me from a perspective of he has already all of the tools in the world to be an NBA player, but I don't believe has the injury history and feels like he has better control of his body. He doesn't look awkward and gawky out there. Yeah. Chet Holmgren did all the time. So you felt like Holmgren needed to grow into his body. Wembanyama feels like he's comfortable in his own skin and utilizes his size to do what he can do on the court. So I don't think they're the same. I think he's more Durant-esque in that I don't think you're going to see him put on weight. There are some people in this world who just physically can't put on weight. And I think it would be very hard for Victor Wembanyama to put on significant weight, to change his body that much. And I don't think you want him to, because then you create injuries and then you also create changes in the game. He's used to playing how he is. Just leave him.
I will say I'm very excited to watch the Thunder next year with Shea and Giddey and Holmgren. The first time we'll see him in an NBA game. I'm
and
excited.
They've still got picks for days.
Correct. You threw this in here, and I love that. I am pleasantly surprised that Jalen Pickett is not just on somebody's draft board in a mock draft, but that he is comfortably into the second round here. I mean, he's 18 picks ahead of what would be the last pick in the NBA draft tonight. So they know a heck of a lot more than I do. Jalen Pickett's going to get drafted tonight.
And listen, he tested the waters when he was at Siena.
Yeah. After his freshman year.
What's that?
After his freshman year.
Yeah. And decided that it wasn't right then. And then went on to Penn State to play his final year of eligibility. And now is to the point where he has turned heads on the national stage. And he was turning heads on the national stage at Siena. There were people talking about him as a potential future NBA, and whether he was picked or not, a future NBA player. He has the oldest school game that you've ever seen. Like, he looks like old man basketball out there playing the way he dribbles, but he's super effective. He's very crafty. His IQ.
Who's he remind you of?
He's a facilitator. What'd you say?
Who does he remind you of? Old man game, facilitator, gets to his spot, can make the mid-range jumper, doesn't shoot the three as well as the guy I'm thinking of. And you would say he doesn't even have the same handle. Okay. And I'm not going to use the phrase, I hate when people say he's a poor man's this, but he reminds me of James Harden. Back to the basket.
Yeah. Harden
barely leaves the floor when he jumps.
Yeah. Harden shoot. The thing for me is Harden just shoots so many threes that I just feel like I can't. But
Harden plays okay, and here's another guy who plays this way, and it's a new way in the NBA.
Yeah,
Luka Doncic. These guys play with the defender on their hip. We grew up watching basketball where it was get away from your defender as quickly as you can and get to the basket or get to an open shot. These guys like to be challenged when they take a shot because they might get fouled, and they like the physical contact of a player as they work their way to the rim.
At least they know where they are.
And I think they love that. Get them on your backside if you can. It's at least on the hip. Create the advantage, and that's the way Pickett plays. It fits today's NBA game as much as people talk about. You have to shoot and make the three. That style really fits now.
I still think his size could be a problem because if you get a big enough defender, you're going to have trouble. But that was the argument when he made the jump from Siena to Penn State was, will he be able to do it? And he did it and then some. And he shined on the NCAA tournament stage with Penn State in the NCAA tournament. So he can be effective. It will be so interesting to see because we're so used to seeing his game. But yes, he's the high dribble, leave that guy on your hip and then just slip. He slips and it's like a little bunny shot, or he goes to the bucket and it's some sort of reverse. Like he finds a way to create space for himself. Super talented, but unlike any other player in college basketball to me.
Yeah. We still have more NBA to do here because the draft machine is cranked up, and I love it. I mean, stars are on the move ahead of the draft. The NBA has become the NFL where there's almost no off season now.
Right.
I absolutely love it. We've got our performance industrial dirty difficult duns to get to. We have big local baseball news, which has been a really fun story to watch now for the last week, and our Marcella's MVP of the month to come, and it's a fun one. We're going to do it all here on Onorato and Company. We're back in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Shout out to the great people at Alpenhaus on News Channel 13 today. On Thursday morning, you would have seen our reporter Caitlin Erla out with Mark Odell from Alpenhaus out on the Great Sacandaga. Do you have to put the in front of it? The Great Sacandaga. It's not just on a boat on Great Sacandaga Lake.
No.
Because you'd say on Lake George, you wouldn't say on the Lake George.
Right, but
different.
There are two different lakes. There's Sacandaga Lake and the Great Sacandaga Lake.
And I still don't know the difference.
Me neither.
These are two completely different bodies of water?
Correct.
Wow. Okay, I should know those things. Anyway, they were on the Great Sacandaga Lake this morning. It looked absolutely beautiful. So shout out to our people at Alpenhaus and the great service they do with boats and RVs and any kind of really watercraft you could possibly need, even if it's just a raft or a float that goes in your pool. They've got it in Amsterdam. I am at Saratoga National coming off the heels of a leadership breakfast with Michael Oher. Really cool event that our team over at Novice and supporters of this podcast put together for him. Got to share his story, which I know so many people know from Hollywood, and that's great. But this was a more intimate setting, and you get it right from Michael's mouth, which was cool. Ash is wearing a T-shirt from Cat 13, which is a volleyball fundraiser that the Novice squad puts on. The Rockman says he wishes he could play some volleyball.
Go ahead, Rockman.
Yeah.
Next year, fire up a team.
Yeah, good volleyball over at Albany. And we'll get to the Rockman's thoughts on the Marcus Smart trade, which came down late Wednesday night. Didn't see this one coming.
No.
We'll get to it in a little bit. I want to play you a little bit of our interviews though that we had with Michael Oher, Harrison Butker, and Terese Cannon, Super Bowl champions. Terese is a beach volleyball player for Team USA and tracking towards Paris next summer. That is her goal, to be an Olympian, and she's got a legit shot at doing that. This is from Wednesday night at Cat 13.
Michael Oher, who was one heck of an offensive tackle, Super Bowl champ, Pro Bowler. Of course, you know his story well from the movie theaters. He's going to play a little volleyball here tonight, and he joins us now. Michael, man, it's good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be out here. So I'm excited to play some volleyball, see if I can still move a little bit, but it's for a great cause. So if I break an ankle, it'll be for the good.
We don't need that. We definitely don't need that. Michael's got a foundation he is launching. There's a book coming in August. What's the purpose behind the foundation, Michael?
The foundation is to helping other kids like me. What we're doing is supplying kids with community education and mentorship, something that I needed for far too long in my early life. So once I got all three of those, everything else started to change for me. So we're paying full tuition to kids to go to high school, to private schools, the schools that we're partnering with, and just paying their way through school while placing a mentor staff in the school for those kids. So, and I think it made a difference in my life, and it will so many others.
A guy from Tennessee, how do you get connected with Novice up in Albany, New York? I know they're branding some of your gear for the foundation, and the book again comes August 8th. What has this partnership been for you? What does it mean?
I think it's great. I think we're aligned so well together because, claim your crown, own your story, claim your story. And we all have stories, and, everyone knows mine. So, whatever you do in life, you claim it, and you have to own that. And, that's what made it so special. And they're not just going out here, just, adding, just anyone to to their roster. It's coming with a purpose, and, that's why it's so special.
Good to see you, man.
Good seeing you.
I would not want to be on the other side of the net with Michael Oher staring down a spike. Harrison Butker, the kicker from the Kansas City Chiefs, who is part of this great novice company. And Harrison, it's great to see you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Back in Albany again, and you are here again to support a really good cause. Why the Cat? What have you heard about this volleyball tournament where you said, I'm invited, I'm going?
I got to be here. It's the 13th annual Cat, and I'm so excited to be here. It started with Garrett and Nick just in their backyard, and they are such giving people. I wanted to be able to be here and support them. Can't wait to see the volleyball skills. I know Terese is going to be here, and I'm just pumped up to feel the energy, and hopefully we raise even more than the $25,000.
I think we might have a shot at that. What does it say in an NFL kicker's contract about playing volleyball in a parking lot?
If I can't ski, I probably can't play volleyball in a parking lot. It's going to be a no-go.
Yeah, that's for sure. Talk to us, Harrison, about this partnership you have with Novice, why you're connected to the Bernardos, Scott Klimchak as well. What drew you to this company, and why does it make this partnership now multi-year successful for you guys?
Well, we met in 2019, right after the 2018 season, through a good friend of mine, and they came over to Kansas City and showed me their capabilities. And what really got me is, number one, their mission of claiming your crown, which I love. We are definitely mission aligned, but the fact that they can customize so much of their apparel, and it's just very different, it's unique, it's exactly what you want, and I love the material. I'm obviously always working out, so I need stuff that's lightweight and is catered to me. They do an amazing job, and now that's kind of transitioned from a friendship to a business relationship, and now we are partners in this great novice company.
Connected not only through fashion, Harrison's wearing one of the new zips here, but through faith as well, which I know is so important to you and the Bernardos as well. Terese Cannon is a Team USA beach volleyball player. She's a two-time national champion from USC, and we've got a really cool opportunity with Terese here tonight, but we're happy to be talking with her right now. Terese, it's good to see you. Why is this partnership with Novice right for you, a high-level elite athlete?
I love what they do. Amazing company, they make really high-level apparel, so it's great to be able to represent that, and I love that they're from New York. I grew up in New York, and so that hometown connection is really special, and just good people all around.
Are you disgusted at the display of volleyball here so far tonight?
No, honestly, really high-level volleyball. It looks great. It's a beautiful night for it, so it's been really fun.
Tell us where you are currently on your path to Paris, we hope, next summer. I know you're shooting to be an Olympian. How awesome that would be. You're already a member of Team USA. Where are you on that path right now?
Yeah, we're in the middle of qualifying, so we got a year and a half to play in a series of tournaments and see if we can get there. And the competition's tough, but we just came off a really good result, and we're hoping to build on that and see everyone in Paris.
This is an American Cancer Society fundraiser, and here's the cool thing. Come walk with me, guys. So, as part of tonight's event, you can call in the Cannon, a $25 donation to the American Cancer Society, and Terese Cannon will serve for your team, and she'll school you a little like this. Go ahead.
Just the imaginary player's best fitness.
There you go, an ace. An ace from Terese Cannon. Can't do it any better than that.
There you go. That was cool. Cool experience last night. A lot of good people around to share a special night. $30,000 raised for the American Cancer Society by the Novice Squad. Awesome, awesome stuff.
You may have to move inside. It's getting a little windy there.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Maybe after the break. You might be okay.
Okay. All right, why don't we take a break? If it is still windy, then I'll step inside. We'll take a quick break here on Onorato and Company. When we come back, let's dive into the performance industrial dirty, difficult duns, because that will continue our NBA discussion here and some of the blockbuster moves that have already taken place. Back right after this on ONCO.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
Looking for a fun and relaxing way to spend time on the water? Look no further than the luxury of a pontoon boat. With their spacious and comfortable design, pontoons from Barletta, Sunchaser, and Suntracker offer plenty of room for family and friends to enjoy a day in the sun. Whether you're looking to ski and tube, swim, or simply relax, pontoon boats provide the perfect platform for all of your aquatic adventures. So why wait? Stop by Alpenhaus Boats today or shop online anytime at alpenhausboats.com.
And now back to Onorato Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Okay, back live now, Saratoga National, and I've moved inside. Ash will tell me if that's a better sound for everybody.
We don't hear the wind blowing through your AirPods there.
Well, it's nice out there, but it is
I
a
know.
little breezy.
It was a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it is a little breezy. All right, you know what? Let's do this, Ash, because people are talking about it right now in our chat, and I want to share
comments.
some of the comments so you know where we're going here. Let's just dive into it.
It's time for the Marcella's Appliance Center MVP of the month.
Shout out to Johnny Marcella, Nick Matalone, the entire staff over at Marcella's Appliance Center. Those locations in Schenectady and Clifton Park, and the Marcella's Appliance MVP of the month, Ash, is the National Arena League. Explain.
Yeah. Listen, this is my MVP of the month because it has just ended it all for those of us who have been suffering through the last 6 weeks to 8 weeks of madness that has been the Albany Empire. And I say this in the most loving way because I do feel bad for fans. I feel bad for businesses that are losing out because the Empire canceled the rest of their season, all 7 games to end it, 3 home games. I don't love any of that. Yeah. But I am grateful that they have put some finality to this thing and that maybe after this week we'll stop talking about it.
Maybe. And we were on the air live last week, Thursday morning. When did the news break? Like 1 in the afternoon or something like that.
Right after.
And so this would technically be on this show, our first opportunity to react to what happened. To me, it's such old news at this point.
Yeah.
I was shocked. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. I really just thought that the thing might self-destruct on its own. I did not see the owners kicking the Empire out of the league. That one floored me. And I'll just say that, Ash, if you want to expand on it some more, go for it. But we've got some comments coming into the show here as well. And one that I can't share because it's a little explicit was pretty much, you know what, we're good. Gone.
Let's move on.
Go support the teams that are here, and one of those teams is the National Lacrosse League and the Albany Firewolves. So I would second that. Yes,
and I agree.
The teams that we have here, go ahead and support those for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, I was going to say maybe the owners just got sick of Antonio Brown stealing all their airtime and thinking, well, he's getting a lot of pub, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. But when you don't pay $21,000 in dues, there's a little more reason to kick you out than that. And my guess is he wasn't going to pay it. It was just going to continue happening. So this is what you use to kick him out officially. But my guess is they wanted him out for a while.
Yeah, and only a couple of days before they kicked him out, he made some unsavory comments about the league and the other owners. And, I think it was kind of like, okay, this guy is a disaster in his own little cocoon but now he's taking shots outside of that. We've gone. The leash is short for sure. So what happens now with the Albany Empire?
Good question. What's next?
I'm sure there will be football.
Yes.
Bob Belber, who's the GM of MVP Arena, and again, I go just MVP Arena. I don't see the MVP Arena. Has said there will be football. He's already had feelers out from other teams or startups or whatever it is. They may be established already. They may not be. I don't know. But my guess is you're going to see indoor football in downtown Albany in 2024.
Yeah, I agree. Either Antonio Brown will end up selling this thing and probably take a huge loss on it, or that team will go somewhere else to some other disaster and they bring a new team in from a situation. There are plenty of teams who probably have a situation that they're not super happy with or aren't drawing fans and can literally just plug and play into Albany and take this fan base, a fan base that loves arena football and wants arena football, and see what they can make do with it.
Yeah. The goal should be to get back into the AFL. And I think that was kind of Antonio Brown's goal as well, was I don't plan on playing at this level as an owner for too much longer. I want to get into the AFL.
Right.
Name change, league change. How much of a change are we going to see here?
I mean, it depends on what happens with Antonio Brown's empire. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that will depend on if he takes that team somewhere else. And my guess is they'd change the name if he took it somewhere else, so you could have the name back. But if he takes that team somewhere else, he's got the name until it's not his anymore. So they would have to sell the team and keep that team here to guarantee that it remains the Empire. Otherwise, you think about changing it.
Yeah. All right.
I thought from the beginning that they should have named the team the Firebirds. I thought that they should have just rolled it back out, that it was the best way to do it. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because the product wasn't what the Firebirds product was, with the exception of one year, because then you lose the AFL and it just doesn't feel the same. But a lot of good memories about the Firebirds, and I think Joy said it. Love the Firebirds. Used to have season passes. I didn't have season passes, but a lot of my friends did, and it was the best thing to do on weekends. We would pray that they couldn't use their tickets so that we could use them. It was awesome.
So a week before the month really wraps here, we've already called it. This is not a political race.
This was
it's
an
too
easy
early
one
to
for
call.
me.
This was a landslide, and the Marcellus Appliance MVP of the month is the National Arena League, as Ashley said, for putting her out
We're thanking them.
of some of her misery.
Exactly.
Performance Industrial, Dirty Difficult Done next here. We're back in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
And now back to Onorato Company, sponsored by Alpenhaus.
All right, Ash, this is one of our fun segments we get to do every single week, courtesy of Performance Industrial, and it is attaching something in the sports world that is dirty, difficult, or done.
And now, dirty, difficult, and done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
And I've gotten my fill of Bill Miller. I saw him Wednesday night at Cat 13.
As did I. I had dinner with him.
I like that. I saw him Thursday morning at the breakfast at Saratoga National with Michael Oher, and Bill is such a great supporter of so many good causes in the area that he has, for some reason, attached his name to this show as well, and we thank him for that. So, Dirty, Difficult, Done. Ash, you know how this goes. You're always up first.
Oh, okay. Well, yours is better, so I was hoping you would go first, but that's okay.
I'll take it. You're
a little more timely. I say we do it.
Let's go
a little
for
more
it here.
timely.
Brad Stevens is clearly done messing around here. He has tried it with Tatum, Brown, Smart, Williams. They sprinkled in a little Malcolm Brogdon to see if that would change things. It didn't change things enough. And the conversation, this is very interesting to me here, because it suggests that He is not going to break up the nucleus of Tatum and Brown. And that was the conversation was, can you win with these two guys as being your A1 and A2 guys? And are you going to give Jaylen Brown a max contract?
That guy's getting a max deal.
He's going to get a lot of money. I don't know if he's going to get all the way to $295 million, but he's going to get a lot of money. The reason the Celtics are all in here and Stevens is done messing around is because he pulled the trigger on a trade that sends Marcus Smart out of Boston and brings Kristaps Porzingis in. So you're playing the ceiling game here. You're saying, I understand Marcus Smart is a key component to our defensive success, but we might need a little more in the way of dynamic offense. Porzingis brings that. He can shoot it from the outside. He's obviously incredibly skilled around the rim. He has that 7-foot-plus frame that gives you a little bit of a rim-protecting presence. He's not this great defender, but because of his height and his length, he adds that if Robert Williams is in foul trouble or injured or whatever it might be. Stevens is betting on the potential here. And honestly, the way it's gone for Boston the last few years, I'm okay with that. And I know you're going to say to me, they were just in the NBA Finals last year. They can't get back. I'm not saying they can't get back, but I don't know that you're going to beat a team out west as deep as Denver. So go out there and take your shot. It's a big move, and I like it. The NBA offseason every now and then becomes an arms race, and it has. You just mentioned Phoenix. They're all in.
Yep.
So
you have to be all in. And what do we always say? If you think you can do something to take your team to the next level, then go do it. Don't sit around and wait for somebody else to make a move, even if it doesn't work out. Brooklyn went all in on their stupid experiment, and it didn't work out.
I know.
At least they tried. This is a much smarter move because I just don't think it's – listen, this is the most important thing to me. The Porzingis thing is great. They just got 2 first-round picks. They got Kristaps Porzingis and 2 first-round picks. One tonight, Thursday night. They didn't have a first-round pick tonight until they made this trade. And then one again next year. So not only do they get one of the better players who we tended to call him the unicorn. He was like the first unicorn. And he's not the same player he was. But you get 2 first-round picks. To me, the Celtics win this trade in their sleep without and I wouldn't have said trading Marcus Smart's not a good idea. I get it. But they still win the trade running away for what they got and what they had to give up.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. All right, Ash, you're up. You're triple D.
All right, my triple D, listen, baseball is my jam. But what Luis Arraez is doing in baseball is as dirty as we've seen since technically the year 2000 when Nomar Garciaparra was hitting 400 later in the season. But it's as dirty as we've seen in the World Series era, because we're talking, the game has changed so much over time. What Luis Arraez is doing is unlike what Nomar Garciaparra did, because the game has changed so much since then. People are not hitting for average anymore. The fact that he's technically hitting 398 as of Thursday morning, so he's fallen a little bit below, but he's got 3 5-hit games in the month of June. I said this to you the other day. I would be surprised if many players had 3 5-hit games in an entire season at times.
Right.
I don't think, because when you see a 5-hit game, you're automatically like, whoa, he's done it 3 times this month. It's unbelievable. And I threw up, so here's the name of some of the guys.
Yeah, I love these.
That have done this stuff here. Hang on, let me find it. As I got so much going on here. There we go.
I got you. Go ahead.
So Garciaparra, so the parentheses are the number of games into the season that they were hitting 400. I believe Arraez is at 73. So he's still a good number away from these, but has the chance to go up and down a little bit. So Garciaparra, 91 games in 2000, Larry Walker in 97, John Olerud in 93, and George Brett way back in 80. I mean, he's got a long way to go before he's catching any of those guys, but what?
So you did the research on this one. I'm surprised Tony Gwynn in 94 is not on this list.
He wasn't. This was a Yahoo Sports article that I pulled this from. Credit to Yahoo.
I wonder if it's only considering full seasons. 94, of course, was the strike shortened year.
Maybe.
Strike was like August 4th or something like that. He was hitting 394 when baseball went on strike. I'm just surprised that, I mean, that's August 4th or 5th or whatever that date ended up being. He's hitting 394. I would be surprised if he wasn't deeper into the season than Walker and Olerud. But look at that Brett number, 1980.
Crazy.
Woo.
I mean, 100 games in, you're hitting like 134 games in. That's wild.
And now again, nobody's done this since Ted Williams pre-U.S. involvement in World War II, right? I think it was 1941 before we.
And I don't think
crazy.
I don't think he'll hit above it would be a monumental achievement to hit above 400 for an entire season.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll do that. But when you look at, so he's currently at 398. Do you know who's in second in batting average in the league?
In the National League. Or just in baseball?
I mean,
in
I think overall, but it is the NL. This person plays in the NL. So,
well, Acuna's been slumping. Is it him?
He is. Yep, it's Acuna, and Acuna's hitting.
He's been slumping. I think he might be under. Is he under 330 now?
327.
Yeah.
But the gap between those two, I mean, it's 70 percentage points that you're talking about between 1 and 2.
Yep.
It's a lot of percentage points. It's going to take him a lot to come back down to earth.
Oh my gosh! I mean, if he doesn't win the batting title in the National League at this point,
which is
something
crazy
has
because
gone
all you have to
horribly
do
wrong.
Go 0 for 10, and you're coming back down pretty quick.
Let me just make one point on this too.
Yeah.
How about Miami? How about the Marlins?
Unbelievable.
I mean, they've been trending towards having the pitching needed to compete, but how Luis Ariz gets away from Minnesota? Great move by Miami, and they've got a nice thing going down there. They're second place right now in the NL East, which, oh, by the way, has two of the highest payrolls in baseball sitting behind them in Philadelphia and New York.
Right. Yeah,
pretty special.
It's funny because you get a team like the Marlins in the NL East, and then a team like the Orioles in the AL East, and you've got these teams that are sneakily much better than I think people. Is that a word? I'm not even sure.
I don't know.
Sneakily much better than people anticipated them being, and are real players. 75 games into the season here.
Yeah. One thing while we're on it here, just dovetailing off the Celtics. Do you like the Bradley Beal trade for Phoenix?
I mean, yeah, it gives them more. Listen, Bradley Beal is better right now than Chris Paul. He's younger. He's got more abilities, more athletic. So yes, I do like it from that perspective. It makes them better. I'm not sure it makes them good enough. But again, they went and got a guy that they thought would make them better. Their payroll is absurd, what they were going to be paying 4 guys next year.
Yep. They'll trade Ayton, though. I think I'm in the camp of everybody else at this point. DeAndre Ayton gets traded. They'll get some other pieces that kind of fit what they need to do.
Well, I mean, listen, DeAndre Ayton will never touch the ball with those 3 guys.
And he won't be happy, and it'll just be a mess. And it's a shame because Ayton and Monty Williams just did not get along. I don't know how you don't get along with Monty Williams, but they did not get along. And Matt Ishbia, the owner, decides to fire Monty Williams. And I think that was more about him making his mark on this franchise. But ultimately, you got a great guy and coach like Monty Williams who's no longer around. And I think the guy he didn't get along with, or vice versa, will be gone as well. And it may have all kind of worked out for Monty and Phoenix.
Yeah.
If not for this. And so they'll both be, in my opinion, out of town. I don't know when Ayton gets moved. Maybe first round of the draft. Maybe with some fireworks today. That'd be cool. I'm with you on the Beal thing. They are incredibly dynamic offensively, obviously. I need to see Durant do it when he doesn't have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr. I'm sorry. Like, he chose Kyrie Irving.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose James Harden, and the thing blew up in Brooklyn. So I need to see him do something special when he isn't wearing a Golden State Warriors uniform. Yeah. That's it. Go ahead. Sorry, the Middleton stuff.
I just wanted to see what you thought about this. And listen, this doesn't mean he's leaving Milwaukee.
No.
But he could.
Just going to get a longer contract. That's all.
Yeah, he could, though. like, think about, people have talked about like connecting him to the Kings, a guy like Chris Middleton going to play for the Kings and what he could add. He could. My guess is it's just a play to get more money, like you said. But this opens doors.
Yeah, I think he does stay. But you're right. New coach in Milwaukee, too. Maybe the feeling is we're just going to reset this thing. We have Giannis. We're only worried about keeping Giannis. We can build everything else around him. And Drew Holiday, very valuable player. Yeah. But maybe they feel like we can find shooting like Middleton. Let him sign somewhere else where he's going to get paid a ton of money. Boy, I don't know. Sacramento going to spend on Chris Middleton? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, maybe not.
That would mean Harrison Barnes doesn't come back.
Right.
Yeah, the NBA is cooking right now. I absolutely love it. You know me. I'm such a big hoops fan. I love that we're talking about it here on draft day, if you will, but that there are fireworks in the trade market for sure. All right, another time out here when we come back. How about this for a first impression? I mean, the guy couldn't get the call to the major leagues. Basically, he probably felt like just saved my life. He probably thought, I'm never going to get called up. I enjoy playing baseball, so I'm going to play it for as long as I can, even if I'm just in the minor leagues my entire career. Well, that isn't the case, and he couldn't have been off to a better start. We're talking about Zach Remillard, of course, the Salle Institute grad, and we'll get into what he has done and why it's so special next on Onorato Company.
You've heard of unsung heroes. The men and women of Naiskoba are the unseen heroes. For the past year, you've learned about our many charitable endeavors. Now it is my privilege to share with you the work performed by our members, the 20,000 state correction and law enforcement officers shielded from view. They work in difficult and dangerous conditions and are an extension of the police who protect our neighborhoods. Naiskoba honors New York's police and firefighters and salutes its own members who help deliver a peaceful night's sleep.
Life is about making memories. It's about sharing special moments with those we love and cherishing those moments forever. And what better way to create those memories than by spending time together in a space that is as beautiful and as special as the memories we create. Visit Alpen House on Route 30 in Amsterdam and Clifton Park Center and let us handle the heavy lifting. Take advantage of free local delivery and we'll haul away your old grill or patio furniture.
And now back to Onorato and Company, sponsored by Alpen House.
And I'm at Saratoga National, where I should say, Ash, the staff here has been terrific. I mean, I'm the weirdo who's sitting at the bar, not eating anything, not drinking anything. And
are they even open yet? Technically?
Well, the lunch crowd will come through here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even on a nice Thursday. Gonna play some golf.
Yeah, that's true.
People probably pop into the bar before they even tee off.
Yeah.
For one or two, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it'll get busy here for sure. But I will slide out of the way before we even get to that. Joy commented on your shirt. She says she loves your shirt. What was your impression of the cat?
So I meant to say this. We should kind of put a bow on this thing. You didn't even say how much money you stinking raised.
I did say 30,000.
Oh. All right. Well, we're going to put up the number because it looks better.
I'm glad you did.
The big check presentation, my impression of it was it's a sensory overload from a lot of different perspectives. Like you walk, I pulled in, there are cars parked all over Creation. I mean, this is in the middle of like a little business district type spot. There are hundreds of cars everywhere. There are people, there's music. There's volleyballs flying all over the place. You're screaming into the microphone. The speakers are pointed at my ears. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not sure if I can handle this for this long. But it was a blast. I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, talked to a lot of people, networked with a lot of people. It was a production. I was very impressed by just the depth of all of it. I mean, hundreds of volleyball players at what did you have, 25 teams?
24 teams,
24 teams who do 2.5 hours of pool play before you get the final 8 teams in, and it was wild. Food trucks were awesome. It was a good time. But yes, it was a lot.
It is a lot. There were raffles for the first time ever. They had
The raffles were awesome, too.
which were really good items.
Really good.
And I think people were really into them. I was in charge of pulling some of the tickets, and every single bucket was pretty darn full.
I said to our buddy Jeff, who was running the raffle table for a while, I said, you might have to get bigger buckets. These things are starting to like fall out of the buckets.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. When it's somebody's first experience, you don't really know what they have been told about it ahead of time, has been really built up, and then does it somehow not live up to expectations? This thing is everything and more. I'm amazed at these.
Every time I saw someone, I said, "This is my first cat." Like it was like this initiation. Like every one of the Bernardo members of the family that I saw was like, "My first cat," and they were like so fired up about it. So I felt like I had to tell everyone, "Hey, this is my first cat." Like that it was some sort of fun thing. So
I like that. Tell you what, you got to be liking this. 29 years old. Never been called up. Forget like called up, didn't get in. Never been called up to the major leagues.
And 94 games in the minor leagues. Could you imagine?
Could you do it? Could you just have that patience and persistence, knowing it may never happen?
Maybe because this is the difference. Is like you love baseball, and ultimately you're getting to play baseball for a living. Which is what you wanted to do. You didn't yet. You haven't made it yet to the bigs. Okay. I think you can be kind of good with, okay, I made it to AAA. You always want to get there, but like still knowing that you're blessed to be able to play baseball for a living is probably a huge part of it, but you always want that chance. So for him to get it, even just this once, I said, you know what, even if this is all he gets and he's up for a week or two, well, now that he had that game,
I could be good.
Forget it. I'm good forever because he was the number one story on SportsCenter. He was the number one story on our sportscast. He was all of Major League Baseball was talking about for one day. And that's more than most people can say.
So this was Saturday night. I was at an event for Saratoga Bridges. You texted me. You're not like, I think the game might have already been over. And you said he had the game tying hit in the ninth and then the go ahead and eventual game winning hit in the 11th. In his debut, and he only came in because Tim Anderson got hurt.
I know.
Who knows? Who knows if he ever sees the field? And I don't even know if we said Zach Remillard's name yet, but we should have. Zach Remillard from LaSalle, Cahoes, played for the Albany Dutchman, played at Coastal Carolina. Like, if Anderson doesn't get hurt, I don't know if Chicago forces him into the lineup at all. But now you can't really keep him out of it. Here are the numbers through the first 5 games in which he has played, and he's had a couple of 0 for 4s, but a 3 for 3, and twice in 4 nights, he had the game-winning hit.
One of which was rather controversial, but
hey, you know what?
It goes down in the books it goes down in the books as an RBI.
But
that's
you're
all
right.
That matters.
The runner at the plate was out.
No doubt, and it happened again. It happened again Wednesday night. That rule is the worst thing that baseball has done.
Yep.
The catcher rule with listen, Jonah Heim was not in the way. He did his best to avoid the runner. It came back and tagged him. It was all as it should have been. But hey, Zach Remillard's not going to complain. He just said, the umps make the calls. We just play the game. Good job, Zach. Good right thing to say. You've been taught well.
And after his 3 for 3 game tying and go ahead game winning hits, post game at his locker, he was rocking a novice hat.
How about that?
Pretty cool. He played baseball with Garrett. I don't know if he played with Nick, but definitely played with Garrett at LaSalle. Okay. So they know him
and this is a guy
well,
who, listen, you go to win a national championship at Coastal Carolina. When you do that, you probably think like, you know what? That's pretty good. I'm pretty good with my baseball career. I went to one of the top programs in the country. I won a national championship. We covered that. And then he got to play a little bit of baseball at home with the Albany Dutchman. Like, okay. Then you get drafted. Like, this kid has had what many people would say is a dream of a career And now that you put that in a major league debut, I hope he gets a shot here and there, even if it's like up and down a little bit. I hope he continues to be able to get chances. Your career's not going to go like your major league debut, and he knows that. But to be able to do it with his family in the stands, his wife was there, his parents, like, I mean, it's a dream. They doused him afterwards, threw sunflower seeds on him, like, so good.
Yeah. You want to check in on the AL East?
Yeah, I just thought this was interesting because the Yanks had lost 4 in a row before they've won back-to-back games against the Mariners. Slumping a little bit. Judge, I'm not sure when he's coming back. It doesn't sound like it's soon. And the rest of the team is slumping so hard. It's like they're better off calling up AAA guys to see if they can hit better, because Anthony Rizzo's been terrible. DJ LeMahieu's been bad. Gleyber Torres has been bad. Anthony Volpe's been their best hitter, and he's hitting 200 in the month of June. Like, it has been a frightful sight for the New York Yankees. And I just think, like, look at these numbers. It's starting to get real crowded at the bottom of that, in the basement, what we would call the basement. There are 2 games separating 3rd from 5th place. And not that the Rays haven't run away with it, but like, there's 5-6 games separating 2nd and 5th. So that division's getting real interesting real quick.
It's interesting that you see it as, because I see it as Tampa and then
everybody else.
Who else? Right. Like, so I know you're saying it's crowded at the bottom. To me, I'm looking at Baltimore and New York, and it's a 4.5 game difference. But outside of Tampa winning this division, which would you say at this point you think they definitely will do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then any of these teams,
I don't know the 2nd and 5th is.
Yeah.
It's a few wins in a row away from.
Yeah, I don't know if Boston has staying power.
I don't know, but they're starting to play a lot better.
Yeah, and Nick is loving the Orioles, and we kind of saw this coming a little bit because they put. Oh no! I'm not saying that we thought they would win the division or maybe make the playoffs, but they played really well down the stretch last year. You could see it coming, is what I'm saying.
Playing well and being second in this division are 2 different things.
Okay, what I didn't see coming was Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's on a hot streak.
In the
Rangers, and the Rangers have the payroll, but I didn't really see the Rangers. I didn't believe in them.
No, the
minus
Bochy
Jacob
move
DeGrom
was a smart
too,
one.
even.
Yeah, the Bochy move was a smart one. That has changed the game a little bit there.
Yeah.
Stan points it out. 3 weeks from opening day. Are you ready? Are you ready?
No, I'm ready for my 3-week vacation, a break. I need. One of my weeks has already disappeared. It was a 4-week, like. Now it's down to 3.
What happened?
Huh?
What do you mean it disappeared? What happened to it?
The week already has gone by. The time is disappearing. I'm hoping to enjoy my 3 weeks before it's here, but it'll happen faster than I hope.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I'm ready, but I'm no longer as deep into the thing as you. So I can say I am 100% ready to go for track season, because more often than not, I just get to go as a spectator, and that's fun for me. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week on Onorato and Company.